Can we know that God exists from the evidence of design? Well, I believe that we can, because the details of cell biology and the finely tuned aspects of the universe really just evidence design. And this great design we see in the universe, it implies that there's a designer of the universe. Well, how did I conclude this? Well, we see things in consumer culture all the time that are designed. For instance, a watch. Now, if I found this watch in the sand and asked you if you thought it was designed, a reasonable response would be yes. Why? Because of the features. The numbers, the hands, the wrist strap, they all serve as special features with specific functions. There had to be a designer who added these features. There's no getting around that, really, when you think about it. Now, does the designer need to be here for us to know that he exists? No. We can simply conclude that the designer exists just by the evidence of the designed thing. Now, keep that in mind because it's a similar deal when we see scientific examples in nature. The first one, it's fantastic. It's this thing, it's called the bacterial flagellum. It's like a crazy outboard biological motor, only way more complex. And you see the tail whipping around and everything, and the logic just prevails. If an outboard motor on a boat is designed and needs to be designed, then something like this flagellum, which is way more complex, needs to be designed as well. Now, I really like this other example from biology. It's called kinesin transport. It does like this Star Wars looking thing, like as it carries things around in a cell on these like microtubes. It's just super cool. And these examples are way more complex in design than just a watch. Just speaking generally, if you look at the functions of DNA and RNA in the cell and the ribosome and how it manufactures proteins, it's like this beautiful scientific music. These functions just scream design. And such radical design implies a designer, just as the watch did earlier. Now, some think that macroevolution is responsible for creating the first living cell, right? Where did the cell come from? But unguided chance processes could not have created such a thing. The cell, it's just too complex. Here's something to think about. Evolution to a cell from lifeless chemicals would be like a tornado sweeping through a junkyard and forming a Boeing 747, right? You may have heard that before, but you got to remember, since cells reproduce, it's like a tornado hitting a junkyard and creating a 747 that can reproduce more 747s. There's just no way. Actually, the whole from the goo to the zoo to you theory is just not practically possible at all, even from the get-go. Design is the best explanation for the origin of the cell and its features, and any design thing in nature, for that matter. Now, getting back to the watch, I ask again, is the watch designed? Yes. But what if the watch is the size of this building? Yes. What if the watch is the size of the Earth? Well, yeah. What if the watch is the size of the solar system? Yeah, it still has to be designed. Now, how about if the watch is the size of our Milky Way galaxy? Yes, it has to be designed. Now, the atheist starts to twitch and maybe sweat here a little bit because he or she knows where the logic is going to the next step. The question is, what if the watch is the size of the universe? The reasonable answer is yes. Now, atheists who say that the universe is not created and skeptics who say it's not designed by God, they deviate from the progression of the logic. If a watch the size of the universe is designed, then the universe itself would have to be designed as well. Now, this evidence for God from design actually affirms what the Bible has said for thousands of years. King David in Psalm 19:1 said, "The heavens declare the glory of God." And in Romans 1:20, Paul basically says that we can come to know that God exists by the evidence of his design in creation. You see, design and science should lead us to God, these examples. And the Bible should lead us to God, and they don't contradict one another, they go hand in hand. And my hope in sharing all this with you is that you consider these things and come to know reasonably that God exists.